Right then. Well, actually, what about Ivan Toney? Newcastle, right? Because we're about to mention a striker who's going to cost a heck of a lot of money, right? And I still think Newcastle, even if they keep Wilson and they obviously keep Isak, they're going to need at least one more striker, ideally two, and ideally, well, I think I would like four anyway. They're definitely going to need another striker. Ivan Toney, quality. Obviously, he's got the FA charge hanging over him, but any likely ban is probably going to run through the summer anyway. He'll cost a bit of money, but hey, I mean, he's a top quality player, isn't he?
Yeah, I like Toney. I think the way he just absolutely bullies defenders. Very, very, very good in front of goal. Incredible from the penalty spot. I still can't understand how he gets those penalties beyond the keeper every single time. Gonna cost a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. And if the way you're talking about with there, do you think he comes in as a third choice? Do you think he comes in above Wilson? Are you really going to pay what Brentford are going to be wanting? Top dollar for this player. Probably more than we signed Isak for, I'd say.
I think it's, do you know what? I think it's a big finish to the season for Callum Wilson. I think it's a big summer for him. No doubt in his qualities, a top number 9, It's just the injury concerns and where Newcastle are going to be next season, hopefully in Europe. I just wonder how long you can go on, holding your breath every time he goes in for a challenge. And at some point, a big decision has to be made. Hopefully it doesn't, but I do feel it's going to come down the road at some point. He's probably going to pick another injury at some point, unfortunately, which is such a shame because, again, he's such a good player. But do you, maybe not in the summer, maybe January, maybe next summer, say, okay, do we bring another striker in? And unfortunately say, sorry, Callum, you've been brilliant, but, away you go.
Yeah, potentially. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in another striker this summer. Whether he comes in above Wilson, whether it's a youngster who's going to, just be happy to be third choice. I wouldn't be, completely surprised, especially if they made Europa or Champions League football, if they went out and just added a bit more depth up front, because really you're only one injury away from just being stuck with Isak again.
And I guess as well, you bring Toney and he's a bit of a similar player, isn't he, to Wilson and to Isak. Maybe you need to go out and buy someone who's just a bit different.
A bit different. I think, look, if Newcastle, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if Newcastle were to receive a good offer for Callum Wilson this summer and needed to replace him, I think Ivan Toney would be an absolutely fantastic addition. Bringing him in when you've got Wilson and Isak, I'm just not sure where he fits. I don't know, I'm not too sure. Very, very good player, though. I would love to see him back, even though it would cost a lot.
John says, not sure Toney is the right man for our style of play. House seems to like versatile forwards. We've got some other comments here. We've got a big shopping list here from Derek, who says, dream signings, Madison, Diaby and Grimaldo, who's the Benfica defender. The other Benfica player who's also consistently linked, didn't make it on this list, is Ramos, but reports of £120 million asking price. Bit expensive, isn't it?
Very expensive, but very good player. Proved it at the Euros. At the World Cup. Very, very good player. I really did like him. It's a bit of a shame Newcastle didn't get him this summer. I feel like the boat might have passed on that one.
Right. A lot of people in the comments have mentioned this player, the final man on our list, Victor Osimhen. Is that right?
Osimhen.
I was thinking about it too much. I've been thinking about how to pronounce his name all afternoon, thinking, please don't get it wrong. I've got it wrong. So, Victor Osimhen, there we go, natural. Napoli striker, 21 league goals in 24 games this season. He scored a few more in the Champions League, contracted to June 2025. Report of a price tag, 100 million or so.
Yeah.
This would be a big, big signing, wouldn't it? Now, I think the names we've mentioned, Madison, Toney, McTominay, Ward-Prowse. You see, if Madison, right, joins Newcastle, no one's going to be all that surprised because we know Newcastle like him, they've watched him, they've tried before. No one's going to be that surprised. I think Osimhen would be the man that would really rattle not just the Premier League, but, the big players in European football as well, because it's a massive statement signing.
Oh, I mean, if Newcastle were to get him, it would absolutely rattle a few cages, not less because they would be breaking a Premier League record to do so. Napoli coming out this week and saying they want 150 million euros, roughly 131 million for him. look, we've spoken about there being competition for Maddison, there potentially being competition for James Ward-Prowse. I mean, this would just be off the scale. Every other week he's linked with Manchester United, Chelsea after him, Arsenal keen on him. Huge talent. I have seen him, we've seen him a couple of times already linked with a move to Newcastle, a lot of it based in Italy, a lot of it, Italian publications maybe trying to garner some interest from. But yeah, huge talent.
Is that the issue when you do have players like him linked? Is that I guess, explain to our listeners and viewers how it works from your point of view, how you sort through what is utter rubbish to what is actually got a bit of truth in it. Because what we're seeing already and what we're going to see for the years to come is, oh, wait there, Newcastle United are a very rich club,
yeah.
XYZ linked, not necessarily because it's got any evidence or concrete to it, just simply because Newcastle are a very rich club.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it in the last 18 months or so. A lot of foreign publications seemingly just throwing Newcastle's name in the mix because all of a sudden they've, got some of the wealthiest owners in world football. We saw ludicrous reports last summer, didn't we? Neymar, Pogba, these type of players being linked where, it's not going to happen. Now, as Newcastle United grow and as this, start to qualify for the Champions League on a regular occasion, these names probably don't become so outlandish. But I think where Newcastle are at the minute, certainly until they've guaranteed top four football, you're never going to be beating someone like Chelsea or Manchester United or Manchester City to play like Osimhen or Vlahovic or anything like this. But they went out and broke their record for Isak, who, look, yes, he was 60 million, which in terms of the record spend in the Premier League isn't too much. There's nothing to say that they won't go and break it again. I just think players of that ilk are just probably too far away at this.
Well, you're talking there about what would happen if Toney came in. Where would he fit in terms of the ranking? Well, this fella comes in, he's going to be straight in that first team, isn't he? No question.
Absolutely. And look, Isak's done fantastically well. He's really adapting. I think in the next couple of months, if he can stay fit, we're going to really see the best of him. But a player like Osimhen, who's consistently scoring for Napoli, they're going to win Serie A by about 20 points a season. He's probably going to finish top scorer. Absolutely fantastic talent. And it's so easy to see why all these big teams are linked because, clearly he would be, he walks into that first team in pretty much any Premier League team, never mind Newcastle.
Do you think Newcastle United look at players and they go, well, obviously we'd like to have him, but we know Manchester United, PSG are also linked. And they go, like you've just said there, that's not for now. We're not going to even bother testing the water. Or do you think they do put some feelers out and go, well, okay, if we come in, would you be interested in coming here over, whoever it might be?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've already seen the last couple of months or to the last 12 months, they've got scouting operations going on in a lot of countries. They will definitely be having conversations with the likes of Napoli for other players, the likes of even for Benfica, for Ramos, and saying, look, how much will it cost to take this player? We might not be able to afford him. You might not want to come, but ballpark, what's it going to take? And look, it would be a huge statement. I don't think there'd be anybody, disgruntled with it happening. I just think it's probably too soon in Newcastle's journey at the moment.
Sam says Osimhen is class, but lots of goals in Serie A doesn't always translate to a lot of goals in the Premier League, which is true, but also I think he's a little bit worried that his main man, Isak, would be under threat should Osimhen sign. Out of the player, well, give me your rating then for this one. I'm going to put this down a 3.
Oh, I was going to go 3 as well. I'm going to go 3 as well.
Great minds.
I just think for what Napoli want, and Napoli, by the way, aren't one of these teams that easily sells. De Laurentiis, their owner, is notoriously a tough negotiator. That they showed it with Koulibaly and other players in Sydney. They just don't let them go unless the value's right. You're going to probably be paying 130 million for him. I just think, 3 out of 10.